property, I suppose, their grounds. And there wasn't another house there, but
No.
there was a block of flats, wasn't there? And tennis courts.
Yeah. Only certain people.
And there were very few.
House.
It wasn't a huge army estate or anything like that. Not at all.
But something, I had put some headings, something I thought was quite important to the civilians. Come around, let's say 5 to 6 o'clock. I really don't know, but about that time, there was a mass exodus from Pembroke Dock. They were all going to Freshwater or further out to avoid the bombs, because most nights we were bombed. And to get out of it, some people had bungalows in Freshwater East, or they had friends who had bungalows, or they rented bungalows, whatever. But there was you could tell traffic going out of Pembroke Dock. And when I say traffic going out, this is another thing. Only the certain professions. No, what are they called, Pat? Special jobs.
I've forgotten the word. We were saying it the other day. Just the vital.
The vitals, doctors, and this sort of thing. Had money for
coupons.
Pardon?
Coupons.
Petrol coupons. I mean coupons. Yes, for petrol. So there was no joyriding at the weekend, but you couldn't go to the beaches anyway because they were mined. Shut off and mined.
Some were mined.
So there was no beach. But you see, you got used to all of this. It was norm. It became norm until everything was opened up.
And when did you were bombed out of Pembroke Street in a way? So
yes.
You went to Saundersfoot then, was it?
Yes, that was in 41.
Oh, 41.
Yes.
Yes.
We went to Saundersfoot. Yes, Daddy was then in headquarters in Tenby, along with the Americans, and he moved us to Saundersfoot until it got a bit quieter. So
that was with a friend of his.
Yes.
Mother kindly took us in.
Yes, yes.
She had a lovely bungalow in a thatched cottage in
But you still came to school in Pembroke Dock? You still came to school in Pembroke Dock?
Yes,
you
every
and
day.
Maureen did. I was too young, so I
well, our gym mistress, she said she lived in Saundersfoot or thereabouts, and she suggested to Daddy, if Daddy paid her so much a week, she would take us to the school. She worked had a job in our school, in the grammar school. So we were happy about it, she was happy about it, so every morning. But you know, going to Pembroke Dock, as you well know the roads, they're not flat, the hills one. Every time we came to a hill, we had to do this in the car. She turned off the engine.
Save petrol.
Turned off the engine, and we had to push. I tell you, I dreaded these wretched ups and downs. And then when we got to the bottom, when we got to the top, she put the engine on, and we go floating down. So mean old devil.
Well, necessity.
Necessity, you know.
Desperately.
Stretch the gallon of petrol.
They were. I know, it was quite something. And then we had to take us to Tenby. If we wanted to go to Tenby, we had Silcox, I think it was. We had 2 coaches that used to go into Tenby. So we'd have to be there, of course, to catch it. Now, one of them, I'm not going to mention his name, even if I remembered it. If he overslept, we never got to where we were going. and
that wasn't the Silcox one. It was
the other one.
Yes.
Yes, and I won't tell you the words. I learned quite a few swear words in the queue. The men were saying, "I've got to be there at sundown." Taxis, you haven't heard of them. You don't hear of them. They have no petrol. But I remember that particularly. I don't know how we overcame it in the end, but that wasn't reliable. But that was Pembroke Dock. That was Pembroke Dock, you know. I won't say they were unreliable, no, but okay, we're not going to make any trouble about this. So what if he has a sleepover or he's been out the night before? Tough luck on us. Let's go and see if Silcox has got us running one. So that was all amenable, if you can say that.
Am I right in thinking that you, as one of the senior girls, had to go and help serve some of the forces?
Oh yes.
Times.
Yes, yes, yeah.
I can't think what what it was for, but
they used to come to the church at another church, the one in town. If I say where Coronation School was, somewhere used to be, if you know it, somewhere near there, and we used to go with
chaperones.
Yes, the chaperone. And this is really, really disgusting of me, but to take us there, we were not to talk to, we were not to socialise with the Americans particularly, but the service people. They chose the plainest looking teacher in our school to take us, miserable devils, in case you know, they got a bit chatty and they tried to come behind the...
Was that a fact, or was that what you
No, absolute fact,
decided?
Because it upset us very much. That upset us. But anyway, that again was livable. We got through that. That was, yes, I'm not going to name any names because it's not fair. But yes, we used to serve 3p for a cup of tea or coffee if you were American, and a bun. Or if you wanted another bun afterwards, that was for free. But this is all, I sort of charity paid for this. And we also had the ATC, at the beginnings of the ATC.
For the boys and
for the boys.
The Rangers.
Ours was the Rangers.
For the girls.
I was made well, I'm going to say captain, not so glamorous.
Oh yes.
And I took them for a walk along by the park.
I think you're old enough to hear this.
I think it's this army streak in me. And we were just about to pass the boys. They were doing their walk one side of the road and we were the other. And I said, come on girls, show them all you've got. That's gone down in history. And somebody reminded me of this and I said, oh please forget it. And I didn't know what the uproar was about. I had no idea. We were so, honestly, even as teenagers, we really, really were. But you see, there's a lot of fun out of a lot of things. And we got together a lot. Oh, we played games and went to Haverfordwest or Carmarthen, that was the furthest. Hockey or tennis or whatever. So we weren't, even with the food, we weren't deprived really and truly, because you could have something else instead of a lamb chop or something. Or we used to go for a neck of lamb, the cheapest, but if we didn't have that, we have a similar thing to replace it. Probably have the months, sometimes a month's meat in one meal. It depended. Yeah,
I think we were sort of young enough to gradually be brought into rationing, and it became the norm. It didn't seem like a shut-off thing. And of course, as Audrey has already said, my mother was such a good manager, good cook.
And you had a garden, I suppose.
Yes, we had a garden, and Daddy grew all our vegetables and had our fruit bushes and fruit trees as other people had.
We used to see an awful lot from the garden. We were up on high up Tomato Street, you know, and looking out over the housetops and whatnot, and we could see a plane coming over. We had a lot of warning. Well, we took it as a private warning. But if I had to go through it again, I would say yes, okay. It did us a lot of good, a lot of good. We got used to sharing, giving. You came last. And I think this was overall. Because
everybody helped everybody else. Extremely good.
Yes, there's no, as they call it today, bitching. There was none of that. Everybody did their best. Ice cream was like eating hardboard. We didn't, you know, particularly...
Wartime ice cream.
We didn't have ice cream for a long time. and Woolworths, everything was threepence or sixpence. And if we had a few pence or so, we'd spend hours wondering what to do with the pence. And a halfpence on this and a halfpence. Sometimes you come up with a great big bag. We'd only spent a penny. But it taught us to do without.
Yeah.
And to make use of what we could have.
I can see now Mummy coming in from the shop and with a bag of sweets from our ration and in piles of 4, and we all shared, and that we'd have just our little allocation of sweets. What do you think now? Children have bars of chocolate and
that reminds me, everything we had, we quartered. Even to this day, if say we're together and you're in one room, you come in and I'm got an orange, automatically.
we all had our own plates. Mummy gave us all our own plates for our butter and thing in the so if you were extravagant, then yours was gone, and that's it. And we just hoped that nobody would come along and steal a little bit of our butter. But no, looking back, they were marvellous days, really. And I think our life in Pembroke Dock was lovely. And I mean, Pembroke Dock is our second home now. I mean, we adopted Pembroke Dock. I don't know whether they ever adopted us, but we feel they did. And we've loved it here, and we still come back every year since Mum and Dad.
When did you leave as a family immediately after the war?
No, Mummy stayed.
Mummy stayed.
Sadly, Mummy and Daddy separated. That happened so much in wartime, didn't it? But Mummy stayed, and she lived in Pembroke Dock till 2000, and we just left. I left to go to London and to train as a nurse at King's. Audrey left on business, didn't you? You had work up in...
yes, 47. Was it 47 I was married? I think so.
Yes. Was it? Yes. Was it Preston you went to?
Well, I worked at Bletchley.
Oh yes, you went to
I don't talk about it. I don't talk about nothing to talk about for a short while. Mopping up more or less.
After the war now, was it?
After the war.
After the war. This is after the war, so that doesn't come into it. That doesn't come into it.
Sorry.
We used to have to keep quiet even the war was over. Did you
yes.
still have to keep quiet of what you were doing?
Oh, this is the thing. I don't think I've ever discussed this with my husband. We were married getting up for 60 years. Not because I don't want to, not because do you know, I don't know whether he knows. He knew.
Yes, I think
Did he know?
Yes, I think so.
But
Yes,
we had to sign in and sign off when we went into Bletchley Hall. We slept there and everything. And we were told, you don't say a word. You don't. Now, I don't know what it is, whether it was witchcraft and they look you in the eye. I don't remember. But all I can say, I have never discussed it with anybody.
I think, am I right in saying that you told us you had to sign this 25-year secrecy thing?
I can't remember. No, I don't think I told you that because I didn't know. I don't think I knew. I might have done, but
I just have vague recollection, but I may be
But it was, as far as I was concerned, it was forever. And having said that to me, that was forever.
Well, it took 40 years or so before the story of Bletchley Park started to come out.
So I never include that in what jobs have you had or what do you mean? I never included it. It just doesn't go past.
But that was thinking of your disrupted life in wartime. You still had a good schooling at Pembroke Grammar School?
Oh, excellent. Excellent schooling at Pembroke Dock Grammar School.
Oh, what?
We had.
Oh, we had.
Yes. Even though we've been disrupted with it. But we had to stay put. So we were not...
I had if we were in Saundersfoot for 18 months, which I think we were, I went to... First of all, I went to the grammar school in Tenby.
Tenby, we had to stay there.
Yes, I forgot what it was called then.
Green Hill.
And I went to school with, he's dead now, Griffiths, I've forgotten his name.
One actor.
You've seen this actor on
Great
Welsh actor.
Hugh Griffith? Is it?
Was it?
It's,
I know what you mean. Yes, yes.
Kenneth Griffith.
Kenneth Griffith.
Kenneth
Not
Griffith.
Griffiths.
Yes.
Griffith.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he was one.
From Penally, is he? Isn't he from Penally, John? I'm buried in Penally.
He was one of the boys. I mean, they told me, the girls told me, when you pass him, walk right round. Give him plenty of room. And I used to wonder why. And I asked somebody once, why have we got, because he's quite pleasant. And, well, they said because he'll give you a kiss or he'll give you whatever. But that was Kenneth Griffith. And then we saw him on the screen. It was all, when I look back now at this age, it was in a way quite innocent. It was innocent. But again, Mummy brought us up. She was very strict in our bringing up, and lots of things we weren't allowed to do, or this sort of thing, go with. In at 6 o'clock at night. Well, lots of reasons. The place was inundated with Americans, Canadians, and she wanted to know where her children were at 6 o'clock.
Having 4 girls, she had a
Exactly.
hard time.
Exactly.
She didn't have a hard time because what Mummy said went.
I know, yeah.
That's
yeah,
it.
yeah,
And if she
yeah,
said you
yeah,
were in at 6, you were in at 6.
Oh my goodness. Yes. I'm not going to talk about a hairbrush. I was in at 6:10 and I was hairbrushed all the way up the stairs. With Mummy running after me. Bless her heart.
Oh, dear.
Yes.
Did you remember that?
But she had to be so careful having all these girls.
Yes.
And lots of these things you read today. If the child didn't turn up for a meal at night and the parents said, well, she'll be back later on. None
That
of
wasn't.
And the blackout as well.
Yes.
Yeah, or the blackout.
Yes.
Yes. I think at the very most we had to put that light out, hammer on the door. I think that was in the balance.
Yes, we were
But
living
you
in
were
London.
very
Road at
keen
that
on
time,
this.
yes.
If you showed a glimmer of light, it was put that light out.
When he was in Saundersfoot,
Yes.
did you see the D-Day landings, the practice for that? Did you see that when you went in Saundersfoot?
Not that I remember.
No.
I don't remember that.
That must have been 45.
Yeah,
John,
no,
wasn't
that was autumn of 43.
44.
Autumn of 43. Just before the winter, they had rehearsals for what was to be the D-Day landings, landing vessels and troops onto the beaches at Saundersfoot, Wiseman's Bridge,
Yes.
Coppet Hall.
I don't remember. I don't remember seeing anything in any big.
You might have come back to Pembroke Dock by
We
then.
might have been back in Pembroke Dock then. Yes. Because I started in Tenby Grammar School. I passed before Daddy got us accommodation in Saundersfoot. I had passed for the Pembroke Dock Grammar School, but in fact, in the September, because it was May that we left, so in the September, I had to start at Tenby and then transfer over to Pembroke Dock. But so I don't know. I can't remember seeing anything. Whether it was the time that it happened in Saundersfoot, I can't remember. But I really don't remember seeing a lot of happenings, goings on.
Oh no.
No, I think you probably had left by then. And of course, everything was barriered off.
Yes.
So there was no way the civilians could get even anywhere near
Barbed
it.
wire everywhere, wasn't there?
Yes.
And of course, you couldn't go on the beach in Saundersfoot, could you?
No.
No.
None of the coastal beaches,
No.
they were all barbed wire.
Where most things that were reported in the paper was Joe Clogs was had up for showing a light or not having his lights on, where he had no, this sort of thing. Little things like that. There weren't very many. There probably were. Perhaps Mummy wouldn't let us read these things. I don't know, but I can't recall opening the papers as today. It is sickening to open a paper today. It makes my nothing you can do except give money. Nothing you can do to help the situation. But if you can help it, that's all right. But no, the papers weren't like that. These things didn't happen.
No.
In the wartime, everybody, Pembroke Dock. Pembroke Dock seemed to settle down, and if I had to say, what would you say, good town or not so good? I would say a good town.
Everybody
Because-
pulled together, didn't they?
Yes. The death of most of Pembroke Dock was in 1926 when the dockyard went closed down. That was terrible. That was terrible for Pembroke Dock, and I don't think it's really recovered.
Thank goodness for the military later on, you know, at least it came together and well, in wartime particularly, played their part, didn't they?
Yes.
Yeah. But Pembroke Dock is very special, isn't it? I can, both you ladies, you can feel that. It has such a part in your formative years.
It's got a very special place in our hearts, you know.
I was
and-
saying to Pat the other
Yes.
yesterday or the day before about Pembroke Dock. We know, if I was blindfolded, Janet especially, is on the motorway. We know when we got into Pembroke Dock. No, we know when we got into Pembrokeshire. We know. But it's a different way of life. We spend most of the year. We do all sorts of things where we live and when living quite comfortably, but we can't get to Pembroke Dock quick enough.
Your childhood is so special, isn't it? So very special. And if you have a good, loving family, you can't ask for more. And, you know, you just...
Yes, that is so. We mustn't make ourselves out to be better than we were.
Oh, no. I'm sure
you
you
know.
weren't.
I mean, we had our ups
You were a
and
good
downs.
army family, you were. That's
We're
what
an
you
army
were.
family.
We had a
Yeah,
good
yeah.
mother. We had
Yeah, a good
very
mother,
good
organised mother, yes, yes.
And until Daddy and Mummy, during the war it was, and I believe in that respect, if it hadn't been for the war, I think Daddy would have retired we would have led a different life altogether. But other than that, life is, it's people who make your life,
Of course.
not places.
No. But one thing, do you ladies have like family photographs or anything like that? I mean, it would be nice for us to have as part of this, you know, gathering oral histories, is to have photographs of you girls or the family. Plus, you may have
Yes,
a family,
we have it
like a
home.
We'll have
family group or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Augments what we've been
Yeah.
listening to today, which
Have
is
fun.
fantastic, ladies, and thank you very much. It's, I think,
Not
It's
with
been
us.
our pleasure.
no.
But we could have a look up and see.
I think it's been very, very
Oh, it's been
enlightening, actually.
Really.
Really, and I,
Really has, yeah.
as I said to Barry and Max